Hearing Ivan's words, Fenric didn't show any reaction, but just looked at him silently. It was Siegfried who reacted instead. A monster, you say? So this wasn't the work of a mere monster? You're still as naive and foolish as ever, aren't you? Ivan sneered, his voice full of sarcasm. After using the moon grass, do you think it's just an ordinary monster? Optimism has limits, you know. Huff, master, the moon grass does not affect animals or plants. It is only effective on monsters or humans. So what? Fenric, who had been listening quietly, slowly opened his lips. Who do you think is responsible for this? It is unlikely to be an ordinary person. An ordinary individual would not even have access to the moon grass in the first place, let alone acquire a monster, whether it be a mummified or living specimen. So, it must be someone capable of obtaining the moon grass and the beast, and someone who holds a grudge against Noah Duvern, a grudge so deep that it is tangible. This is the maximum we can make right now, right? That seems right. This crime was not committed out of ordinary motives. Siegfried turned to Fenric as he spoke. I saw Noah Duvern's body, it was in a terrible condition. Have you seen him, Your Highness? No. Fenric shook his head. I have a weak stomach. That is true. While the Knight Commander has been blessed by the Governor with strength and resilience, there is no need for us to subject ourselves to such scenes. Ivan chimed in, sarcastically as usual. Grand Duke, since Presepe claimed to have seen a suspicious figure, perhaps it would be wise for us to begin an investigation into this individual. But does this mean anything? Fenric mocked Siegfried silently. No one will be able to find Vidar that easily. Once His Majesty grants permission, I will inform the knights as well. But His Majesty is currently recovering. Recovery? It seems that his health is not good. At this time, of all times, Siegfried's face was clearly etched with worry. Fenric found it absurdly amusing. Who's worried about who now? In the end, the Emperor and Siegfried will meet the same fate as Noah Duvern. This matter has been entrusted to me. Tell the knights so. His Majesty certainly intended it to be so. Yes, I understand. It seems that the chief magician is finally free. Due to this incident, Prince Atari's case has been reinvestigated as well. With Atari's body returned to the Thane Empire, all Ivan had to do was scan the crime scene for traces of magic, just in case. There wasn't much to gain, since it wasn't a magic-orchestrated crime. Naturally, Evan wasn't happy about doing anything that required a little effort. Thank you for acknowledging my hardships, our Grand Duke. Okay, let's end this here. There's no point in wasting any more time. Fenric had no intention of staying any longer. He just wanted to return to the palace where Presepe was waiting for him. When the culprit is caught, and this case is solved, however, Ivan's next words stopped Fenric in his tracks. Will Lady Presepe return to the Imperial Palace? What? I guess she's no longer a lady, now that she's lost her title. Should I just call her Praesepe? I was curious too. Since she left for her own safety, it's only right that she comes back when this is over, right? Grand Duke Fenric? You too. Fenric's crimson eyes instantly darkened, reflecting the faces of Ivan and Siegfried. I have no reason to be curious about such matters. Pardon? Especially now, when we don't even know the identity of the perpetrator, let alone catch him. Instead of wasting time on irrelevant concerns, why don't we focus on the investigation? That makes sense. I understand your point. Siegfried nodded, muttering as an inexplicable chill settled in the air. Fenric did not openly express his dissatisfaction or say anything untrue. He was as steady as always, with his cold, aloof demeanor. However, for some reason, his reaction carried an ominous air. If there is progress in the Knight's investigation, inform me immediately. Concept. That was the end of the conversation. Fenric didn't say anything else and turned around, leaving the tower without a trace of hesitation. He seemed upset, Siegfried muttered as Fenric left. Well, he is His Majesty's closest trusted person. I guess. That's normal. So, the Forbidden Forest, right? The place where the moon grass can be found. What other information do we have? Siegfried was deep in thought. He turned to Ivan and asked him, why do you ask that question? Do I really need to explain everything to you? This matter will likely depend greatly on my cooperation. Do you or the Archbishop know more about magic than I do? Siegfried's face distorted in extreme annoyance, but Ivan was not wrong. He suppressed his frustration with a heavy sigh and continued speaking. I plan to investigate the area. There are some residents nearby, so maybe someone saw something suspicious. You're heading west then? Of course, the Forbidden Forest is in the west. What, should I head east instead? Have you been so busy showing off that you've lost your senses? Unlike an idiot like you, I don't need to lose my mind to state the obvious. It is enough to simply state the facts. He's still as unbearable as ever. Siegfried was grumbling forwardly but didn't say it. Ivan wasn't wrong about needing his cooperation on this case. If you end up getting torn apart by monsters, I'll find that amusing. My stomach is weak, but I'll consider taking a look at what's new. You obviously don't know anything about someone hiding in your tower. Monster attacks have decreased recently. Decreased? Suddenly? Yes, it's strange. Even long before Alleluia appeared, the West was always infested with monsters. But now it's like someone gave them orders to be quiet. It was completely in sync. As if someone gave them orders? Ivan's facial expression became subtle. Enough, get out of my face. What? I'm done with you, so leave. If you have nothing better to do, go sew Noah Dufferne's body back together. Isn't he the little governor's scapegoat? You are a piece of trash. He was the ruler's sheep and not the ruler's little sheep. Siegfried's face turned completely red, but this did not affect Ivan, who had seen this expression since childhood. It didn't matter to him whether he liked it or hated it. No matter how tired Siegfried looked, Ivan only frowned, lost in thought. Fenric was in a bad mood. He was sitting in his carriage on the way back to the palace, his face stony and stiff. Will Lady Presepe return to the imperial palace? He saw the end, but in this version Precipice's paths did not cross with Ivan or Siegfried. He got her out of the palace before that happened. However, even without meeting her, they were already interested in Presepe. Just as their programmed roles dictated. I expected this, but still, the discomfort in his body was increasing. They played with it, mocked it, humiliated it, destroyed it, and finally killed it. However, the memories of those moments belonged to Presepe alone. She alone endured the pain without end. For them, these horrific events never happened. But for Presepe, those events were vivid and haunting experiences from her past. Their interest will not stop at mere curiosity. If they meet Presepe again, they are sure to do so, just as they did before. A faint grinding sound came from between Fenric's tightly clenched teeth. Grand Duke, we have arrived at the palace. The carriage reached the front of the palace. Fenric absent-mindedly brushed his slightly disheveled hair back and walked out slowly. What kind of moments were you having? When he remembered Precipice's childish joy while looking out the carriage window, Fenric's harsh expression softened slightly. But upon entering the palace, it didn't take long before he froze upon seeing something completely unexpected.